In our last episode, we had a look at the side of Rawnsley Bluff and Wilpena Pound, and then we moved on and had a look from some of the great lookouts around Wilpena Pound. We continued on from those lookouts and had a look at the Great Wall of China. From there we went on to Blinman, and from Blinman we followed the Brachina Gorges through and eventually came out on the other side before returning back to Wilpena Pound via the Morellana Drive. I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. If you like the following video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. In this video, we have a look at the famous Casno tree. From the Casno tree, we take a drive through Brachina Gorge and return back through the very pretty Bunyeroo Gorge. From Bunyeroo Gorge, we go back through to Wilpena Pound, but first check out the wonderful views from Razorback Lookout. Good morning everyone, and welcome to another video. And we're still based in Wilpena Pound, and today we're out for a bit of a drive. We're going to go down through Brachina Gorge and have a look in there, and on our way back we'll come back and return back to Wilpena Pound through Bunyeroo Gorge. It'll be a little bit like the last video when we went through Brachina Gorge. There'll be a lot of videoing out through the windscreen, but that's the only way to see it. So hope you enjoy what we're going to show you on the drive and the remainder of the video. So we'll catch you along the way. In this video we head north from Wilpena up towards Blinman, and then we make that left-hand turn to go into Brachina Gorge before going into Bunyeroo Gorge and making our way back to Wilpena. After leaving the Wilpena Pound Campground, it was only a short drive north up the Flinders Ranges way, and we found our way to the Casno tree. The Casno tree became famous after it was photographed by the photographer Harold Casno, and his photographs were worldwide. For those of you who are aware of the Casno tree, you may not be aware that Harold Casno is Australia's own Dick Smith's grandfather. After leaving the Casno tree, we made our way further north towards Blinman, and it was there we're going to do a left-hand turn and start to head towards Brachina Gorge. After leaving the road that was going to take us towards Blinman, we were now on dirt road, and it was going to remain that way until after we'd come through all the gorges. You do not need a four-wheel drive to enter these gorges and to travel along and enjoy the scenes that we're going to show you in this video. With a normal two-wheel drive, with a bit of care in some of the creeks, there's no reason why you can't travel with that mode of transport. We've done it in a normal two-wheel drive many years ago, and if you're willing to take the time, there's no reason why you can't do it. With the recent rains that had fallen in the area, the water that was still laying in the creek certainly added to the beauty of the scenery that we were viewing on the day that we went through. The Brachina Gorge offers some very pretty and scenic views as we drive along, and unfortunately we're not allowed to fly the drone in this area because it is a national park and drones are banned from national parks within South Australia, but we would have got some nice aerial shots had we been allowed to use it. As we drive through the gorge, the road is continually crisscrossing as it goes through the creek, and even at some stage as we are here, it follows the creek line along. The gorge does offer some designated camping areas, and some of them have got long drop toilets, but there are some spectacular spots like the one that we're going to come up to very shortly. If only you could camp here, it would be terrific, but you wouldn't want to camp in the bottom of the creek bed, otherwise you might get washed away with one of those big rains that do periodically come. This is one of those locations, if seen from the air with a drone, it would make spectacular scenery and video, let alone any photography that you could capture at the same time. So many spots along this gorge that you could park your vehicle, pull out the deck chair and just admire the scenery for hours on end. As we start to get into the steeper part of the gorge with the high ranges, the colours are changing all the time. As we're going to be in various locations within the Flinders Ranges for a period of nearly 4 to 5 weeks, we were hoping to see a yellow-footed rock wallaby. And this section that we're coming up to now is a renowned viewing area for those wallabies. But it was the middle of the day when we were here, and the best time to see them apparently is late afternoon to early evening. Unfortunately for us, we never saw a yellow-footed rock wallaby on any part of our trip, but it wouldn't have been so lovely to see them out in their natural habitat. There are many number of drives that you can do when up in this area. We've already done Brachina Gorge, and that was in the last video, and we actually go camping there in the next video coming up. We're doing Brachina Gorge that we're in now, so that's number 2. Number 3, Bunyeroo Gorge, which is coming up later in this video, and you've also got Glass Gorge, which comes from Blinman down into Brachina Gorge that we're in now. We're not doing that trip at all. And also last video we did the Morellana drive, so 5 drives in total. They're all different in their own right, but all very beautiful to go through. As we continue to make our way through the gorge, we see the odd bits of water still lying in the bottom of the creek, and it all adds to the beauty of the area. It was October when we did this trip up through Wilpena Pound and the Flinders ranges, and for us it's one of the better times of the year to see the area. Possibly the best time all round would be from August through until the end of October, but that's just personal preference. It would be different to view in the winter, not quite sure, we've never come up here in the middle of the winter, and of course summertime it would be very, very hot. With us being here during October, it gave us the comfort of getting outside of the vehicle and walking around without it being too cold or hot. This really is a spectacular view as we drive along here, and wouldn't it be great to be able to pull up and have a campsite that would allow you to wake up each morning and view ranges like this. As we now move out of the steep hilly section, we're back into the open flat creek area and starting to drive along the creek again. It would be great to see this area in full flood with big streams of water coming down the creek, but for safety reasons I guess, and also for the protection of the area, once heavy rains do fall and the area goes into flood, they close the roads off. The power and the strength of the water coming down the creek is obviously seen here by the amount of timber that's washed up on the side of the creek. Once we've completed the gorge drive and come out on the eastern side of the gorge, we do a U-turn and we go back here within the gorge again, and we do a right-hand turn to start to head towards Bunyeroo Gorge. As we take the road from Brachina Gorge that takes you through to Bunyeroo Gorge, there are some pretty scenes along this drive, and I didn't take the kilometres on the length of the drive itself that will eventually bring us through Bunyeroo Gorge, but very pretty as we're going along. Not real sure, but it appeared as though the graders had been along these roads in recent times, and for that reason alone, the roads were very, very smooth to travel on. There is a distinct scenery change once you drop down into the start of the Bunyeroo Gorge, which is where we are now. Straight away you go into the gum trees and the road follows the creek along. As was with the Brachina Gorge, there is a little bit of water laying in the bottom of the creek, and it all adds to the beauty of the area. Bunyeroo Gorge Drive would be the shortest drive of all the gorges that we drove on this trip. It is very, very pretty. It's a different one to what Brachina Gorge is, and even what Parachurna Gorge is like, but not quite as hilly, but still very, very pretty. For most of the drive along the Bunyeroo Gorge, you're following the bottom of the creek bed along, and it's easy to understand why, if there was a heavy rain, why they would close this gorge off. Perhaps it's the first gorge that does get closed in the area after a heavy rain, and also possibly be the last gorge that they would reopen and allow traffic to go through. It would be very interesting to see some statistics to see which is the most popular gorge up in this area, out of the three being Parachurna, Brachina and Bunyeroo, but on the day that we come through here, this one was certainly the one that was creating most tourism traffic, and these people were out here walking around and just checking the area out. We didn't see any camping locations as we come through Bunyeroo Gorge on this trip, and I do believe, don't quote me on it, but I do believe, if I'm correct, there are no camping locations within this gorge. Out of the three main gorges, this is the only one that doesn't permit camping. Well, that is the end of the Bunyeroo Gorge, but as we make our way back to Wilpena Pound, we first go up and have a look at the Razorback Lookout. As we continue to head to the Razorback Lookout, the road takes you on an upward climb for some time, and it does offer some spectacular views as you look out left and right. A short distance before we got to the Razorback Lookout, there is a turn to the left, and that will take you to another lookout, and it has got a picnic table and seats there that you can have a luncheon there if you want to. But it also, like the Razorback Lookout along this area, does offer some spectacular views. As we travelled from one lookout to the next, the views that we were looking at as we looked out the side windows of the vehicle were getting better all the time, and those views you will see very shortly when we have a look from the Razorback Lookout. As we approached the parking area for the Razorback Lookout, we came to the crest here, and with our direction of travel we had to do a right-hand turn to get into that car park, and it was very awkward to see if any motor vehicles were coming up from the other side at the time. The views on offer from the Razorback Lookout are absolutely spectacular. No doubt it would look very nice at a sunset viewing time, but of course then you've got to tackle the wildlife on the way back. So we were here just in the later part of the mid-afternoon, and from there we started to make our way back to Wilpena. There was one more lookout that we were going to pull into on our way back to Wilpena, and that's called the Bunyeroo Valley Lookout. And once you're in the car park, it's only a short walk and you're at the viewing area. The views that are on offer from these lookouts, and all the roads that take you to the lookouts for that matter, and even this walking track, is something to die for. Once back in the vehicle, it was a very pleasant drive to head our way back towards the main road that was going to take us back to Wilpena Pound. If ever you get the opportunity to come up to Wilpena Pound and the Flinders Ranges, all of these gorges are a must-see if you've got the time, but either one of them, they're all very good in their own right and worth looking at. Coming up in the next video, we return to Brachina Gorge with the caravan, and there we spend 6 nights camping in the gorge off-grid. From Brachina Gorge we make our way to Mount Little Station for another 3 nights of off-grid camping, and then for our 10th night off-grid we spend at the Craddock Hotel. Well, that brings us to the end of this video, and we hope you enjoyed what we showed you out there through those gorges. They've really got some real scenic views out there, and if you missed the previous video, that one also included Brachina Gorge, so go back and have a look at that one if you like. But as I say, that's the end of this video. Until the next one goes up, you take care and enjoy yourself. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of our videos, click on the subscribe button. And once you've done that, change the bell notification to all. That way, every time that we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.